Industrial enterprises of the fuel and energy complex of Bashkortostan were attacked by 3 Ukrainian drones, the head of the republic, Radii Kadirov, reported on his Telegram channel. According to him, the first drone fell on the territory of one of the enterprises, causing minimal damage, breaking the windows in the control room. 2 other Ukrainian drones crashed in an industrial zone and did not cause any damage. Within the framework of the Anti-Terrorist Commission and Operational Headquarters, we have formed a combined defense system against possible similar attacks, including passive defense, surveillance, and destruction tools, Kadirov said. The incident appears to be just the second time since the start of the full-scale invasion that Ukrainian drones attacked facilities in Bashkortostan, which lies some 1,500 kilometers from the country's border. The Russian Telegram channel VCHKOGPU reports that the target of the attack could have been the Sterlitamak petrochemical plant. An emergency evacuation of workers from the Bashneftyufaneftikim plant was also announced. The publication, Proofy, writes that one of the drones got entangled in the grating and cables, which prevented a direct strike on a large enterprise. The head of Bashkiria specified that no one was hurt as a result of the drone attack, and the enterprises that were targeted by the attack continue to operate as usual. An investigative team from the Republican Investigative Department of the Investigative Committee of the Russian Federation, units of the Ministry of Emergency Situations and employees of operational services have left for the scene. According to Kadirov, the situation is under control. In May 2024, a Ukrainian drone attacked Gazprom Neftekhim Salavat in Bashkiria, one of Russia's largest oil refineries. The strike caused smoke at the facility, but a fire was avoided and no one was hurt. The Republic's Emergencies Ministry later clarified that the building of the pumping station was damaged.
Uncertainty is growing in the Russian presidential administration as the war against Ukraine continues. Kremlin elites are scared about the future. This was reported by the Russian opposition publication Meduza, citing sources close to the Kremlin. Judging by the article, even the top leadership of Russia does not know when and how the war with Ukraine will end. Because of this, the Kremlin does not dare to begin preparations for the upcoming elections to the State Duma of the Russian Federation, which are scheduled to take place in 2026. They do not understand what agenda the candidates will have to promote. It all depends on whether the special military operation will continue or not. The source said. According to him, if the war continues, candidates with aggressive, militaristic rhetoric will be needed, and if military actions are curtailed by that time, then moderate forces will be in trend. Overall, the mood in the Kremlin elites is now uncertain. Everyone wants the war to end, and even the hawks have started talking about peace, albeit on Russian terms. Everyone is tired and would like the war to end. No one wants an eternal war, for sure, the source said. However, on the other hand, the Kremlin elites do not understand what will happen after the end of the so-called special military operation. They are afraid of the future. Similar sentiments are also present among Russian oligarchs and businessmen. They want the end of special military operation, which prevents them from doing business with the West and from building long-term strategies. A source in the Kremlin claims that the Russian leadership is now more inclined to negotiate peace with Ukraine than it was several months ago. In the summer, they were allegedly determined to destroy Ukraine, but at the moment, such sentiments in the Kremlin have subsided. Putin reportedly wants to negotiate peace, but from a position of strength. According to the sources, Putin is still set on demanding that Ukraine refuse to join NATO and take full control over the captured territories. At the same time, he may allegedly compromise in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. Decisions will probably be made after the US presidential elections. The Kremlin hopes for the coming to power of Republican Donald Trump, who supposedly can resolve the war in Russia's favor.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Wednesday that North Korean troops wearing Russian uniforms and carrying Russian equipment are moving to the Kursk region near Ukraine, in what he called a dangerous and destabilizing move. Austin was speaking at a press conference with South Korean Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun, as concerns grow about Pyongyang's deployment of as many as 11,000 troops to Russia. He said officials are discussing what to do about the deployment. Austin said the U.S. remains concerned that Russia will use the North Korean troops in combat, but whether they will be employed in the fight is yet to be seen. Kim said he doesn't necessarily believe the deployment will trigger war on the peninsula, but could increase security threats between the two nations. There is a high possibility that Pyongyang would ask for higher technologies in exchange for its troop deployment, such as in nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities, he said, speaking through an interpreter. Seoul and its allies assess that the number of North Korean troops now dispatched in Russia has increased to 11,000, according to a senior South Korean presidential official, who spoke on condition of anonymity during a background briefing. More than 3,000 of them are believed to have moved toward combat zones in western Russia, the official said, without specifying the locations. Some North Korean advance units of those troops have already arrived in Kursk, where Ukraine has successfully held territory after a surprise counterinsurgency in August.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce...
Now, we're closely tracking the unprecedented level of direct military cooperation between Russia and the DPRK. In our meetings today, we shared our deep concerns about the deployment of DPRK troops to Russia. We also discussed how we're going to work together with our allies and partners to respond to this dangerous and destabilizing escalation. The evidence now suggests that North Korea has sent around 10,000 soldiers to train in eastern Russia. And some of these DPRK troops have already moved closer to Ukraine, and we're seeing them outfitted with Russian uniforms and provided with Russian equipment. And I am increasingly concerned that the Kremlin plans to use these North Korean soldiers to support Russia's combat operations in Russia's Kursk region near the border with Ukraine. And let me remind you that Russia signed onto the UN Security Council resolutions agreeing not to provide military assistance to North Korea. Of course, we know that Putin has gone tin-cupping to get weapons from the DPRK and Iran. Turning to a pariah state like North Korea for troops just underscores how much trouble he is in. And we take this very seriously. We urge the Kremlin to change course, and we fully understand the security implications for both Europe and the Indo-Pacific. Putin will not prevail in Ukraine, even with more help from North Korea.
Thank you.